So slowly and slowly we will discuss that how to report the different techniques in the paper. Uh, Today I am going to tell you the most important section of a paper, that is called introduction part. Now, why this is important? Because research is assumed to take a research problem and arrive at a solution. So conclusion and problem, these are the two most important component of a research paper. I was attended one of the faculty development program, and the speaker was the editor of a category journal. So we asked him, on what basis you select a paper and reject a paper? So he told us that the most important concept in a paper is the research problem. So first of all, we try to understand the research problem of a research paper. And research problem should be written in such a way that it seems to be important, necessary, relevant, contemporary, and research is required to solve that problem. And another thing is that the way you actually write the problem is very important. So we also conducted a small research on how to write the introduction of a research paper. And once we understood this concept, our all 90% of the paper do not rejected by desk. So they go to the reviewer. If you understand these concepts, the chances of rejection will come down drastically. Your paper will go to the editor desk and then go to the reviewer also. However, the reviewer have their own perspective, so they can suggest you to improve the paper, and chances of paper will be very high. Chance of publication will be very high. So introduction part is the most important part of the research paper, and you should learn that how to write it. So here I'm give you a sample also. This is a paper which is in review process, so I give you in picture form. Now, if you see this paragraph, this is the first paragraph of a introduction section. So most of the research papers, you can see, they have this kind of format. So what is the format actually? The first paragraph aims to explain the research problem. Basically, you are explaining the problem which you are going to solve. It is known as formulation of the research problem. On an average, because we have seen so many papers, so we came to the conclusion that this paragraph normally has 20 statements, 20 to 25, and around 250 to 300 words. Because these things directly or indirectly hit the subconscious mind of the editor, because they have the habit of looking the first paragraph to that size. So they consciously or subconsciously they notice it. So we found that in most of the research papers, so this paragraph is having around 250 to 300 words, and sentences depends upon the font size, you know that. And this paragraph is the most difficult paragraph to be written, because it is really very difficult to formulate the research problem. Because in finance, the problem is that in more than 75% of the cases, there is no research problem actually. It is a pure data mining. This is another problem in finance area I have seen. Formulating the research problem is very difficult, because we are not actually working on the problem, we are working on the data and the technique. So you have to think and develop the problem with the help of literature support. This is most important because it saves you. So I suggest you to add the most recent literature support from the authors of only A star and A category research papers, not B and C all. Right? The reason of that is, when you send a paper for publication, most of the editors know the authors. So they know that this author is working with that university, this author is working with that university. So they know normally the authors, and they give value to it. If you quote a low quality author means who publish their paper in paid journals, low quality journals, they will not give value to those papers, frankly speaking. So be cautious that the literature support should come from high quality research papers. You can also mention the other reports like reports of McKinsey, Gartner. So these are the top companies, research companies who also publish their reports. So that you can quote some of the sentences from these reports. This paragraph must be able to express the research problem, the need of research for this. So why this research should be conducted. So the first paragraph should be like this. So this is our paper, and this paper is in review. So even in the first paragraph, I'm telling you, the first line is very important. The first line should be designed in such a way that it speaks the whole theory. So it's just like a trailer of a movie, which tells you the what is going to be inside, right? So this is about the first paragraph. And don't write the sentences like this topic is very important, this topic is very hot topic, this topic is the most demanded topic. So don't write these sentences, because these type of sentences irritate the editor. And it is the habit of Indians. They, in every research paper, they write that this topic is the most important topic for today. So don't use these kind of words, because it is the editor who decide whether to publish the paper or not you who is saying that this topic is most important. No. So the way you have to write the first paragraph, and because I'm helping you to publish the paper, so I will, whenever you write the first paragraph, I will tell you what is wrong and what is right in this paragraph. Because first of all, after selecting the problem, you have to write this introduction section. The second paragraph aims to explain that what you are going to do this in this paper. So after explaining the research problem, now you have to discuss that what you are going to do in the research paper. You need to explain the research objectives, the research question in this paragraph. This paragraph also expected to have 20 statement and around 200 to 250 to 30, 300 words, like this. So we found that most of the papers, they write that this study attempts to, like this, the objective of this paper. So they started with this kind of sentence. So this study attempts to capture the, okay. So it is a systematic review paper. So whatever we are going to do in this paper, we mention that. And we also discuss the research questions which we are going to answer in this paper. And I'm telling you, these research questions, 3 or 4 research questions play a very, very important role in this paragraph. So first, you tell what you are going to do in this paper. Then tell that what research questions you are going to solve. So second paragraph is like this. The third paragraph is again very important, because you are talking about the research gap. The third paragraph aims to explain that how your research work is unique and different from the existing literature. You need to explain the research gap which is fulfilled by you in this research paper. This paragraph is a kind of contribution which you providing with your research. And because we are also taking the project from the industry, and we made different reports for the industry people. So I am also want to tell you one thing. The research paper started with the introduction, and the industry report started with the executive summary. So whenever we consult a company for data science projects, the first section is executive summary, but the component is same, I'm telling you. Even in executive summary, the first paragraph is that what research problem we solved, what problem we solved, how we solved, and what is the major conclusions of that problem, what is the major findings. So somehow the component are similar. The only thing is that some portion comes above or some below. So those who are working with the industry, they also need to understand that. Because whether it is a research paper, whether it is an industry report, both started with the research problem or the business problem, and ends with the conclusion and findings. So the third paragraph you are telling, in third paragraph, you are explaining that how your work, whatever you do in your paper, how it is different from others, how it is different from existing literature. So this study is different from the previous research in the following ways. This line is important. Why? Because you are telling how your paper is contributing different from others. And that's why I always say the researcher must have some creativity in writing the research paper, because you have to think what extra, what different we are doing. So the third paragraph is basically, it is a marketing paragraph. You are telling, you are explaining that how your research paper is different from the previous one. And the way your paper is different is basically explaining the research gap. So this paragraph is again the important one. And the last and the fourth paragraph is talking about the structure of the paper. You can explain that the section 2 explain the literature review, section 3 explain the methodology, section 4 discuss about the findings and interpretation of the statistical results, and the section 5 is having conclusions and suggestions. So like this, you have to explain the structure of a paper. So I just prepared this document for you because my experience say that, and because most of you are also researchers, you know that the introduction of a research paper is very, very important. Actually, it is the section on the basis of which your paper is rejected or accepted. So I think you got the major points. And so the most important point I studied in the beginning. And now I'm moving to the time series section. So I will share this document in the drive for your future reference. And when you write your paper for this workshop, in this workshop, I will also read and recommend that what changes should be done so that it will not be rejected by the desk. And whenever you write a paper, don't think that you are writing for a Scopus or a low quality journal. Always think for a star, A category research paper. Because whenever we write a paper, first of all, we send to the A star, got the rejection, we improve the paper, then send back to the A star, then we revise the paper. And after this process, we came to know that this paper can be published in A star or A or B. So accordingly, we come down. So if we found that no publisher in A star is publishing our paper, then we started trying in A. Then we come down to B. So in most of the cases, up to B level, the paper is published. And if your paper is not having theory, then you can try in C. In finance, the major problem is the theory. In most of the research papers, theory is missing. So if you want to target A star or A, theory must be very, very strong.